Hello friends, in this video we'll talk about the harsh deportations and how Poland is clearing out migrants. While officials are making optimistic plans for post-war legalization, reality hits hard. Poland is tightening the screws. In reality, there is a mass expulsion of Ukrainians under escort, spy scandals with protests, criminal offenses. In short, we'll break down the myths, including the idea that Ukrainians can do anything they want in this new video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Huge thanks to everyone who supports us. It only takes 2 seconds to do simple things like liking, subscribing, supporting and sharing, friends. Huge thanks to everyone who takes the time to do these simple actions. Now let's get to the point without any ads. Let's start with part 1. There will be timestamps for your convenience. Harsh crackdowns, deportations under escort and myths about Ukrainians' impunity. Many people are eagerly spreading the myth that Ukrainians can do anything they want in Europe, including in Poland. And the local justice system supposedly turns a blind eye to any kind of behavior, but the harsh facts show a completely different picture. As soon as it really comes down to breaking the criminal code and sometimes even administrative offenses, the Polish state machinery immediately remembers its direct responsibilities. According to official data from the Marazanski border unit of Poland, in just 28 days in June, and that's just one unit, 40 foreigners were deported from the country whose actions were recognized as a threat to public safety and order. 40 people were detained. 33 of them are citizens of Ukraine. There are also Georgians, Moldovans, Belarusians and Colombians among them. The set of offenses committed by the citizens is of course classic: drunk driving using fake documents, burglaries, and as the finale of this story, causing serious bodily harm, possession of ammunition and insulting police officers. In short, the Polish justice system doesn't go easy on foreigners, no matter what anyone might think. All detainees were given an order for immediate expulsion, issued a ban on entering the Schengen area for 5 to 10 years, and were escorted to the state border. Since the beginning of 1926, this border detachment has already deported 300 foreigners. Friends, as we can see, real legal practice has little in common with the stories some Poles tell about total impunity. What do you think? Are harsh deportations under escort an adequate response by the state to offenses, or are migration regulations in the EU being tightened as a preventive measure? Write your opinion in the comments. Next we also have a second topic: paid activism. How did the security services uncover a network of pseudo-protests? Our second story. This is pure political economy and classic influence techniques. The Polish Internal Security Agency, ABW, together with border guards, detained and have already deported 9 foreigners. Sorry, no, not 9 are Ukrainians. In total, there were 11 Ukrainian citizens and 2 Belarusians who, what do you think they did? They were engaged in organizing paid rallies in Bydgoszcz, Warsaw and Wrocław. According to the investigation, the citizens disguised their actions as, of course, a fight against corruption and discussions of internal Ukrainian issues to stir up emotions among the refugees. But these performances were funded. Where do you think the money came from? Or was it Zelensky, such a bad guy who just decided to punish everyone, called Naroki and said, "We'll talk about Volyn later, let's round these guys up now"? But no, it's already been proven that these performances were directly sponsored by the Russian Federation, and the ordinary participants were paid $100, that's about 400 zlotys, just for standing with posters. For this purpose, they even quickly set up a sham civic organization in Wrocław. The result was predictable. They shut down the operation, rounded up the organizers, and quickly took them to the border. So what? Well, friends, in my opinion, everything is well deserved. In general, there's a remarkable amount of entrepreneurial hustle in street politics. What do you think? Will such exposed schemes discourage those who like to make quick money at rallies? Or will the demand for such services in Europe only continue to grow? Write your opinion in the comments. Honestly, I wouldn't go to any rally for $100, $200, or even $1,000 or euros. Write your opinion in the comments. So we're on part 3 now. Look, Ukrainians are being deported, right? And now we literally have 3 short episodes showing why. Sorry for the tautology, there you go. We'll examine the tough realities of European law enforcement, where some believe nothing will happen to you, you're Ukrainian anyway. And some people truly believe in their own invulnerability. There's a story about a Ukrainian citizen, 51 years old, seems like a grown woman. She managed to get herself deported with a very harsh consequence, a 9-year ban on entering sunny Poland. What do you think she did to deserve that, friends? and her actions were purely criminal. The woman had already had run-ins with the law before and even had an official court ruling. A lifetime ban on driving a car because of her love for driving under the influence. But apparently, she decided, oh, these rules, these polls are kind of silly. They made them for someone else entirely. She got behind the wheel again and was promptly caught by vigilant police officers in the city of Bielsko-Biała. Friends, here's some comment bait. Write in the comments where you're watching from. Which city? What's the current temperature where you are? It's important. The local law enforcement officers with a sense of humor. Let's get back to the story of the lady from Bielsko-Biała. The police didn't get the joke, considered her repeat stunt a blatant safety violation, and immediately handed the lady over to the commandant of the Cieszyn border detachment in Ratibors. Ratibors. He didn't think for long, oh my. 10 more like her will come. He processed her deportation and banned her from re-entering. For almost 10 years. She was taken to the border and handed over directly to her home authorities. Auntie can be glad she wasn't born as an uncle because she would already be in basic training. In short, friends, this is a perfect example of how personal irresponsibility multiplied by alcohol is guaranteed to ruin everything, including your fate. What do you think, is such a harsh verdict fair, or is a 9-year ban for driving without a license too much? Write in the comments what you think. Next, we have 2 more illustrative examples. A special operation in the city of Kielce. There, a real action movie unfolded involving officers from the Podlaski border detachment and fighters from the Operation Support Unit. Apparently they have such a unit. Sunday, June 28, Dąbrowska Street. A dynamic special operation took place to eliminate an illegal migration channel. Honestly, news like this makes my hair stand on end. A married couple, Ukrainian citizens, were detained. Locals quickly spread rumors of loud commotion at the scene, mentioning machine guns and spilled blood. There's a border guards report on what really happened, and it's not as dramatic as people claim. There was no shooting, but the suspects were detained harshly with flashbang grenades, as special forces are trained for dangerous situations. That's their standard procedure. How else could we detain them without grenades? We were trained and equipped with grenades. That's it. We don't know how to do it any other way. Of course, the citizens were a bit shocked by all that noise, to put it mildly. We had to call an ambulance, but the medics said, "You're fine, nothing's wrong with you, go on." Well, I mean, you won't get very far now, right? In short, the accomplices are in the agency's custody in Białowieża, and for organizing the illegal transport of people, they're facing 8 years of imprisonment under the Polish Criminal Code. Well, and in addition, most likely there will probably be deportation, but that's not certain. Well, making money off other people's misery at capitalist borders. It's a profitable business, but as you can see, it's a criminal offense. Basically, it's bait for comments. There is a domestic business organizing illegal migration. It's a large-scale business, and all kinds of people get involved in it. But you can write in the comments, friends, whether the security services will be able to shut down these channels, or if demand will always create new criminal schemes. Unfortunately, I'm expecting the second option. Well, I hope I'm wrong, and I look forward to your comments. So let's move to sunny Wałbrzych. A classic sketch on the topic of how you can ruin your life in just one evening. In Wałbrzych, on June 20th, during the official city track and field race, a young citizen of Ukraine appeared in the city center, 19 years old. And he was in a state of deep euphoria, because later testing showed he had more than 2 promille of alcohol in his system. In such a lifted mood, the young man started smashing the barriers, tearing down the track markings and interfering with the athletes, at which point 2 officers of the local municipal guard tried to, or rather politely said, "Hey bro, come on man, calm down at least a little, okay?" He went on the offensive, burst out with foul language and started a fight, actively grabbing the officers by their uniforms. In short, a colleague came to help and they restrained the troublemaker, but in the holding cell the guy says, "I don't remember anything." Seriously, damn, so I drank, so what now? When I drink, I don't remember anything at all. So what are you going to do to me now? Push me around? Well, maybe they won't push him around, but he's actually facing a real 3 years in prison for insulting and attacking officials on duty. But you see, the real kicker is something else. The investigation revealed the citizen is in Poland illegally. So after the trial, or instead of it, most likely instead of it, the border guards will definitely give him a one-way ticket. Well, damn, what can I say, friends? I'm a grown man. I'm 39 years old. I'll be 40 soon. Young people, take note. Alcohol, hooliganism, attacking the police, all of this while being in the country illegally, that's a combo worthy of a Darwin Award. If you don't know, Google what that is. Honestly, I don't know. 19 years old. How did he even make it this far and still do something like this? I don't know. I think, is it worth giving people like that a real sentence in Europe, or is it easier to send them back to their home country without court expenses? Share your opinion in the comments. What else caught my attention, friends? The final note in our video is an amazing session of strategic planning from the chairman of Poland's National Security Bureau, Mr. Bartosz Gradecki. The official made a statement about the challenges that await Poland's security system and migration policy after the end of the war in Ukraine. Subtitles Dimatorzok. Mr. Gradecki is seriously considering reforming the temporary protection system, moving towards permanent legalization for those who have started businesses, pay taxes, and is urging government institutions to prepare for an influx of applicants. And honestly, as I read all of this, I just can't help but make a subtle jab at this so-called deep analyst. This guy is so immersed in his bureaucratic fantasies, he has such an idealized view of the world, right? He seems to think there's no way Ukraine could lose. And obviously, these great Polish strategists don't even allow themselves to think, like Semyon Slepakov saying, what the hell, what if it doesn't happen? What the hell, what if it doesn't? If things turn out differently, they'll have to deal with shifting borders and face completely different geopolitical realities head-on. Doesn't that occur to them? Of course not. But of course, it's much more pleasant to plan legalization on paper in a quiet office. In short, a perfect example of bureaucratic optimism. Friends, write in the comments, do you think that such post-war forecasts by Mr. Gorodetzky have any relation to reality, or is it all just an attempt to calm the local electorate, and of course to scare them a little? Damn, we'd have big problems here once the war ends and the Ukrainians come. So you're not worried, right, about what if the Ukrainians don't come because they lose the war? That doesn't bother you, does it? Well, alright, here's the conclusion, friends. We put all these markers together and a pragmatic picture emerges. The state acts systematically and cynically. On one hand, it acts harshly, without sentiment, kicking violators out the door regardless of their passports, accents, or past loyalty. On the other hand, top officials continue clinging to illusions, making long-term migration plans without any regard for what's happening today. The laws of the material world take their toll, and sooner or later you have to pay for illusions. That's just how it is. Share your thoughts on these topics in the comments. Thanks, friends. Leave likes, comment, and take care of yourselves and your loved ones. See you next time.